Hi, my name is Todd Spodek. I'm a criminal defense attorney with Spodek Law Group, and I'm here today to talk to you about Medicaid fraud investigations by the Human Resources Administration. Now, my firm was started in 1976. My father started this firm, and over the years we've represented thousands of people in Medicaid fraud investigations. We've seen every type of scenario, and we could use that massive amount of data to help you. So let's start in the beginning. You received a target or call letter requesting you come down for an interview. The letter was likely hand-delivered to you at your home, or it was mailed to you. This letter is going to tell you a few things. It's going to tell you, one, that you're being investigated for possible Medicaid fraud. Two, it's going to tell you that an interview has been set up for you with an investigator at one of the HRA offices. And three, it's going to ask that you come down with various documents regarding your income, your assets, your residency, and your family size. Now let's think about this together for a moment. You haven't been charged with a crime yet. It's an administrative investigation. And what they're trying to find out is whether you actually were eligible for benefits at any time, and if not, what are their options? Now, the documents that they request on the target letter are going to give you a lot of insight into the issues in your particular case. So let's go through them together. The first thing they're going to want is ID. They're going to want to know where you live. Why is this important? Because for Medicaid, there are residency requirements. You can't live in Nassau County and apply for benefits in New York County. You can't live in Westchester County and apply for benefits in Suffolk County. It's a county-specific program. They're going to want to know who you live with. Why? Because household size matters for Medicaid benefits. So if you live alone, that's a family size of 1. If you live with a child and another adult, that's a family size of 3. That is going to matter to whether you're eligible or not. So they might ask you for your marriage certificate or documents regarding your children. And again, this is the reason why. Now, in addition to your family size and structure, they're going to want to know everything about your personal finances. So they'll ask for your pay stubs, find out where you work, how much you're paid. For your income tax statements, both New York and federal, they're going to want to see the deductions you take. This is most important when you're a small business owner. We represent doctors, lawyers, taxi cab drivers, barbershop owners, all individuals who dictate their own salary. Now, you may be able to determine your deductions for tax purposes, but HRA doesn't have to follow that. They don't have to believe that those deductions actually reduce your income to the point of eligibility. And in a lot of cases, that's a big issue. In addition to your income tax documents, they're going to want to know about your assets. Do you own a car? Who's the car registered? Who pays for the car? Is it financed? Is it leased? What's the situation? What about your home? Do you own a home? Do you rent a home? Are you a tenant? Do you have tenants? Again, they're going to want to know all of this information. Why? Because it all comes down to whether you're eligible or not. So anything the investigator can find out about you helps make that determination. So, best case scenario for the investigator is you get this letter and you come down to their office and you disclose everything. And now you're in a tight situation because the investigator can dictate what the next steps are and you have little recourse. Now, you may have looked online and seen videos by other lawyers talking about you're going to be arrested, criminal case. But let's talk about the reality. No one in New York represents more people in Medicaid fraud investigations than my firm. And over the years, we've amassed a gigantic amount of data detailing Medicaid fraud investigations in New York. Yes, people are criminally charged. And yes, it does happen often. But the chances are still small because they don't have to start with HRA. They could start directly with the district attorney's office. They could start with an indictment and get a warrant to arrest you. So if you got this letter, there's a good chance that it's not necessarily going to go criminal. Now, you may receive this letter and you may think to yourself, how can I get myself out of this? Or what is the next steps? What can I do? So let me walk you through what it would be like to be a client of Spodek Law Group. There are 3 Medicaid offices in New York. Well, there are 3 HRA offices that deal with Medicaid and food stamps fraud. There's one office located at 250 Church in Manhattan, and that's down the block from our office at 100 Church. There's also one at 151 West Broadway, which is around the corner. And then in Brooklyn, there's one at 320 Skimmerhorn, which is for food stamps. Now, as I said earlier, depending on who sends the letter to you, depends how the investigation is going to go and what the possible outcomes are. So, if you decide to hire us, you'd come to one of our offices, either in Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens. You'd meet with one of the Medicaid fraud attorneys, and you'd be assigned an attorney to your case. Once you decide to hire us, you're going to be inputted into our online case management system. This way you can track the status of your case 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Every document that we need from you, you don't have to come to our office to bring it to us. You'll upload it to our server and we'll be able to review it at our convenience. In addition, this allows you to track the status of your case. You'll be able to see when we meet with the investigator and updates from our meetings. You'll know exactly what's happening in your case at your convenience. Now, what we're going to initially do is look through your income to determine whether you were eligible for what years or what portions of the year. Perhaps you were eligible for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. That's important because that could reduce the overall claim of benefits against you. Now, if you have a family and you're receiving benefits not just for yourself, again, we're going to want to look at the income and assets for everyone in the family to determine whether you or your children or your spouse were ever eligible. And again, with the goal being to reduce the claim period. The smaller the claim period, the smaller the potential restitution. After we look at your income, we're going to want to look at the initial application you applied to Medicaid with. What did you put down on your application? Who did you say you lived with? How much did you say you made? Did you disclose your assets or resources? What information did you put on that application? Not only do we want to see the initial application, but we want to see each and every recertification so we could get a thorough understanding of whether you were eligible or not. Now also, keep in mind, when you prepare and fill out that application, you're swearing that the content on that application is true and that everything you're supplying is accurate at that time. Now, there are two issues with the Medicaid applications and the recertifications. One is intentionally providing false information. You say you live by yourself, but you live with your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your cousin, somebody else. Another thing is omitting material information, meaning you say you work one job when you really work 2 jobs. All of these things matter because this is all going to be part of your case. So once we have a thorough understanding of your income, and we have a thorough understanding of what information you provided to HRA in each of these applications, we're going to want to know about your current financial situation. Do you have a business? Do you have bank accounts? Do you have assets? What is your current situation? Why? Because again, this is going to affect the type of resolution we could get on your behalf. If you qualify, we might have you fill out a financial maintenance form. This is a form that HRA provides for hardship cases, and that might help us mitigate the damage in your case and bring down the claim. Now, in certain cases, our clients have substantial resources and substantial assets. And in that type of situation, we would never recommend you filling out a financial maintenance form because you could be worsening the situation. You could be putting yourself in harm's way. So, once all this information is set, we are going to go down to HRA to meet with the investigators ourselves. At no point do we recommend you going down there because you can't necessarily help us at this juncture. We have the information, we have the documents, and we know how to navigate HRA professionally and efficiently. So we go there on your behalf and we talk to the investigators about your case. And we talk about why we think you are eligible at certain times. Now, what a lot of our clients don't realize is that Medicaid is like car insurance, meaning the premium is paid every month whether you ever go to the doctor or not. It only goes up with use. It doesn't only apply when you use it. This is an important distinction because a lot of our clients come in and say, I had other insurance at the time, or I never used it, or I didn't even know I was insured. It doesn't matter. Medicaid is taking taxpayer money and paying your premiums every month for you and your family. Now those premiums vary, but can easily equal $400 a month per person. Imagine the total cost over 2, 3, 4 years. Going to the doctor, surgeries, pregnancies. It gets high. So, getting back to what we do as your attorneys. After we go down to meet with the investigator, we're going to figure out where the case is going. Is this a case that we could settle? What are our options? Can we settle for a lump sum amount for a fraction of the claim? Can we settle for an installment note over 7 or 10 years? What is your capabilities to settle, and what would they likely accept? How do we know? We look at the years of data we have to see someone in your situation, what's been done before. We have cases with all of the investigators, and we've worked with all of the supervisors. So we're able to navigate this system like no one else. Now, this meeting might take place over the course of one day. It might be a situation where we go back and forth over a couple of weeks. Each case is different, and the facts and circumstances of each case are different. So a lot of our clients come in and say, I would like a guarantee. I want to know how much you could reduce my claim. You did this for this person. Can you do it for me? Each case is different. What I recommend you do is come by our office. We have an office in downtown Manhattan, we have an office in downtown Brooklyn, and we have an office in Queens. There's absolutely no fee to come in. It's a risk-free consultation. We answer all your questions. If you decide you want to work with us, we welcome the opportunity, but there's no pressure.